What happens when a communist-inspired town decides it needs a financial district? This is a part of my Every Tile with a Purpose challenge, turning this single waterfront tile into a whole new city centre. Across this collaboration map, every creator is shaping their own corner in a different way. And mine so far has leaned towards older communist housing blocks, heavy infrastructure and practical urbanism. But this empty waterfront tile gives me an opportunity to do something a little bit different. The question is whether it can feel like a convincing new centre without looking as though somebody has simply dropped another city on the edge of the map. Before we begin the build, this video is sponsored by Boolies. As the residents of our eastern frontier get their first taste of capitalism, how they sit is one decision they can still make for themselves. The EP500 is designed for long sessions spent working, editing or building cities. It features a wide mesh seat and adaptive lumbar support. The backrest height, seat depth and headrest are all adjustable, while the armrest can be flipped up when you need extra space. It also reclines to 126 degrees and comes with an integrated leg rest. You can find the EP500 through the link in the description. Thank you Boolies for supporting the channel. Now back to the communist city where I hold the seat of power. We got Generic Lemons, his city slowly growing along the coast here. We've got Poplar Ponderosa, who's expanded into industry. And then we've had a couple of guests. We've got the latest addition from Grey Noise and his Japanese-inspired build. We've got Picana and his hostile Soviet build. So today, let's purchase this tile and have a closer look at what we're working with. So I want to connect this up to the metro network. We've got this metro line which I've placed down here. This is actually almost centered with that highway road, so we'll have to navigate around that and then connect it up into the subway network. That subway goes around and underground, and we'll need to add a new subway stop at the main train station. But we also have this highway which runs straight into this little cliff edge, and I think what we can do is we could bring that in, take it underground and then connect it up to the existing highway on the other side of this tile here. I'm going to be heavily inspired by La Défense in Paris and also a little bit of the financial district from Moscow. I was trying to find a sunken metro station that kind of showed you all the nuts and bolts of the trains coming and going, but I didn't find any. So instead I'm going to be using this modern subway station which came with the modern architecture pack, and if I've planned this correctly that should just snap in there perfect. But what I love about this particular asset is we can add a platform roof which adds extra comfort, and if we have a look at that, doesn't that look fantastic? I lowered the station down just a little bit so you can see it popping out. Now we do need to use the Better Bulldozer tool, and let's just remove that fence, and then we get a much better view of that roof. And I'm thinking as you're walking along this pedestrian path here, you can see down into the platform when the trains are coming in, and it also provides good ventilation and good light for people that are down there, while also protecting them from the elements. This is too big. I was thinking about using this, but it's far too large for this tile, and I think it would just look like an empty hole in the middle of the city. So instead we're going for the community city park, and this one includes a small little bookstore sunken down, and if we just plop that in there, and that lines up really nicely with the train station, and that just provides a really nice area for people to hang out. We got the Modern Art Museum, and this reminds me of the arch that you find at the end of the La Défense district in Paris. I really like the look of that. And this is a beautiful asset, really well designed. Got a nice little plaza area in there, little sky bridge for people to cross from one side of the asset to the other. we've got all these large malls, which I believe have been created for a Chinese build, but I think these will look really, really good here. But I think I really like this really, really big one here. So let's just plop this down there. We do have road access, so we'll have to shuffle this a little bit, I think. Now, the one thing that's a little bit of a challenge when building around a public plaza with large buildings like this is you kind of do lose that shape of the buildings getting taller in the middle. But I think from this angle, especially as you're looking from the main city, we're still preserving that nice shape. I don't want it to be a harsh drop as soon as you hit the edge of the tile. So we should be conscious not to build too many large buildings on the outskirts of this tile, but we also want to preserve the sight line through here. Having a look at La Défense, there's a lot of residential along the central section with some stores underneath, so I'm going to see if we've got any good mixed use assets that would work in this space. And those little middle assets work quite nicely there. Before we carry on putting any more buildings in, let's connect this up to the rest of the city. I'm going to rework the highway at the top here, connect it up to a big highway interchange and highway system, and then we'll get that metro connected up as well. All right, so I'm going to try Network Tools Connect tool for the first time, and I've selected the double subway track. So I think if I click on that one, interesting, yeah, it just generates the curve for you. Fantastic. I reckon we could pull that back a little bit further and get a nicer curve, smoothing that out a little bit. We'll come back and clean it up properly, of course. Oh yeah, that looks a little bit better, doesn't it? We've got a little bit of a kink there, but I think we can create that connection. Let's go into slope tools and then let's select these. And I think that should be okay. Let's apply that slope. I think we want to make sure that the metro is as smooth as possible, and then we can play around with the roads as much as we like. Okay, so we need to pop down a metro stop downtown somewhere. Yeah, let's remove this park here. There we go. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Don't need that fence around it. Let's go into Better Bulldozer and remove that fence. And that looks good. We can even leave the shape of the path there. I don't think that needs changing. And then we need to go underground and connect this up. Let's try the complex curve tool in this connect tool again and see if we can get this to work. And then we can create that connection. And we can then put in the first subway line. So we'll be going from this main train station here all the way to this train station here. And let's change the color to yellow. And I'm looking at this bridge and I think something's gone terribly wrong. We've got all these cars just floating through here. I found that when I've reloaded into the game that a lot of the nodes have gone a little bit weird. So I think we might be able to use node controller to fix these. And if we change that to a slope, it drops it all the way down, which isn't what I was looking for because ships won't be able to pass underneath that. So let's reset that to normal. And it seems to have fixed it, but it still has that really weird sharpness to it. And I think I'm just making this a lot worse, aren't I? Bend that back a little bit, bend that back a little bit. And yeah, that looks a little bit better. So you just need to push these back. And I think we need to do the same on this side as well. And hopefully we can get these to look like they're in the same spot. I'm looking at the pillars here. I think that needs to come back just a little bit more. That's about right. And then this side also needs to be adjusted. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a pain that's happened to a lot of our nodes through here. I can see even down here, really, really weird stuff happening. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Yeah, this is the weirdest bridge. I like to imagine because we don't have access to the exterior part of the map that this is a sea highway that goes to some distant communist land in the distance that's supporting our development here on the edge of this map. But yes, we've got traffic absolutely piling up everywhere all along this highway. Now, this isn't the issue along here. We have to find the cause of it, and it is down by this roundabout. And it looks like we've got people struggling to come through here, and it's more than likely because we just don't have enough throughput on these lanes. We might even have to add some traffic lights. I wonder, let's just bump up the speed. Let's go into our road tools, and I'm gonna throw some traffic lights on this one, and we can go into time-lapse mode and see if this works properly. Okay, so I've removed the traffic light and I've also added an extra lane into the roundabout. We're still seeing a lot of traffic, and we're also making it more difficult for pedestrians to get to the tram stop in the middle. So let's go ahead and add one of these pedestrian bridges so that people can get across a little bit easier. We could go for one of these larger ones. Probably just the medium one will do, as long as we don't have it overlapping the road at all. We should be good. I think that will be a good spot there. And we just need to go back into our road tools. Let's turn off some of these pedestrian crossings here. And we'll need to add another one of these crossings, I believe, on the other side of the roundabout over here so that people have the option to head towards the hospital if they want to. And we'll have that snap over the top of the road somewhere around here. We don't want it to be, again, obstructing the road itself. I think that should do there. And yeah, it's not the most ideal situation, but it's the best thing that we can do for now. We should place a little bit of a tile section here so that people can actually step out onto the bridge and not have to walk across the grass. And of course, we can get rid of a couple of these bushes as well. But that is moving, and we've got people coming through here. Let's have a look at this back up. Does it go all the way up to the bridge? Not quite as much. I mean, the bridge is a little bit backed up because we do have a set of lights here as people go into the industrial area, as well as the tram turnaround. It's not the most traffic efficient, but I quite like seeing that we've got a lot of traffic on the roads. But this is going down now. This is working, and cars can come out as they need. Now, I am seeing that we've got some vehicles stopping here, and I'm wondering whether we've lost our giveaway and yield. So we'll go back into traffic tool, we'll go into priorities. Now these need to be the yield, and then they need to be the priority over there. So we'll set these up as the priority, and I think that looks pretty good to me. And that should work if all is planned well. We'll come back to that at a future episode. We're more than likely going to need to build a massive mega interchange right next to the old town, and we'll have to make a big episode of that. But yes, over here we've got the buildings in now, but it's not perfect. We've got quite a lot of little details to fix up here. I've set up a little tram stop down here, and let's have a look to see if I remember to put a tram line connected up here. Not yet. Okay, so we need to go over to this tile here, and then we need to grab the last stop, drag that all the way through, connect that in with the stop there, and then we need to make sure that we add a couple of stops on this side as well. We just need to grab a little tram stop, plop that there. They'll now have access to the new consumerist tile. But yeah, let's have a look at what we've been working on and what needs fixing. So I've got this residential area here. I've tried to put in some underground car parks. We've also got a lot of street parking, which I think is fair enough. If this was a grass verge along all these roads, I think in reality people would probably park on top of the grass. I do want to throw in a couple of trees along here just to shield those homes from the noise of the street, and then we'll bring that through here. I quite like the look of that. Should we just make it a little bit denser? And that's quite nice. Yeah, I think this will be quite a nice place to live. It's based on a public housing project next to La Défense. It's not as colourful, but I think it's pretty interesting. And it's good to have people living nearby commercial and offices so that people don't have to travel too far to get to work or get something to eat. The centre of the city is looking a little bit grey, a little bit sad. So I do want to go through here and add some extra trees. And I've also got a special statue to put down. And if we have a look in our decoration tools, I think it's in the parks actually. Is it the tourist attractions? This is called the Eagle Monument. This is a monument shaped of an eagle in the traditional Armenian style. I do think this asset is absolutely stunning. That looks pretty good to me. And we may even be able to put a cul-de-sac on the end with a few bushes, or maybe just a little round thing like that. Yeah, that looks fantastic, that. But I think that's really, really nice. Now, I do want to come through and add a few planters and a few trees. We've got all these beautiful little grassy sections with the benches through this park here. And at the moment, it just feels like an isolated asset. Building this has been quite a challenge, especially compared to Sunny Isle, where I'm usually working on much smaller projects, but it's been so much fun. I love seeing how this map has been developed by lots of different creators. I think it's super, super exciting. All the different ideas that people have been coming up with. Now we're going to place a few more of these planters down this side street here, fill this up with a few beautiful, lovely bushy trees, and it really does tie the whole thing together. But you can see how much that elevates this area. I think it looks really, really nice. We can even sneak in a couple of trees around here just to cover up some of that dodgy landscape. And we've even got a few empty areas where we can put in these small little micro parks just to fill in the gaps next to this school here. And I think this is looking pretty good, pretty exciting stuff. We've got quite a bit of traffic down here. Traffic lights, I would say, are definitely needed here for people heading out of the highway. So we'll leave that as it is. We might need to do a protected turn phase. Let's upgrade this to have 5 lanes going in that direction. Let's turn on split phasing. Let's just do protected left turns. That should help people coming through here much easier. Okay, so we've got some traffic lights down here, which I don't think are needed on these little roads. Just on these main roads where there are 2 big major roads heading into each other. So something like that, we will have some traffic lights. But a lot of these are just not needed. There's no lights there, which is good. We've got some lights here, but there's no congestion. We've got the roundabout there. That's always much more efficient. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. We can throw some trees down. Let's use our trusty London plane, and I want to place these on this main avenue road here, so make this area feel a little bit more livable with a few trees. So yeah, I think this is the tile complete. What do you think? Do you think this is a step in the right direction or the wrong direction? And with a little bit of time and a little bit of detail, we've got these interesting intersections. So it's pretty exciting to be able to put together a build using things that are kind of out of the ordinary for me. And then we've got assets like this for somebody to spend the time to put something together. Have something as big as this and it actually function in the game is incredible in my opinion. So yeah, pretty happy with the way this looks. So did this communist-inspired town really need this financial district? Needed is probably a little bit too strong, but it's now a part of the city with a very different purpose. Offices, large shops and high-density homes have been allowed to gather around the station rather than be scattered throughout the old districts. It still feels separate, and some of that is very deliberate. The architecture is newer, the spaces are larger, and the whole district was built in a much shorter period of time. And as always, the city isn't finished. The junction beside the old town will probably need a much more substantial rebuild in a future episode, but for now, an empty waterfront has become a second city centre for this part of the map, and a fairly visible change in a direction for my corner of this collaboration. Let me know what you think and what you could have done differently on this tile. And as always, take care and goodbye.